Hi, welcome to episode 1 of A Walk and Talk with Bree, where I go for a walk and I talk. Up until now, I've been doing this on my own without my phone. I literally go for a walk and I talk to myself. And it's pretty badass, really, but I can understand how it sounds kind of silly too. But here's the deal. I know me, I know my body, I know my mind, and when I have thoughts that need to come out, sometimes the easiest way for them to do that is by walking while I do it. It's like I literally create momentum with my body, and therefore am able to create momentum with my words. So just allow me to throw in a disclaimer, or a forewarning. If I sound out of breath, it's because I'm walking. So let's not forget that we are a part of a walk and talk right now. And there are hills here. I'm currently in Tennessee, which is where I live at the moment. And it's a rather hilly terrain. I love it. Sometimes the lungs feel it, okay? But it keeps me young, keeps me healthy, and I'm alive. So the first episode of A Walk and Talk with Bree is going to be about something that could be a little heavy for some people, but I want to talk about what we're going to talk about today, which you haven't missed anything. It's still a mystery. I haven't said it yet, but I want to talk about this topic that we will be talking about today because I just had a client session, a private client session, and this came up, and it was such a powerful conversation that I can't stop thinking about it, and I feel called to share more on this, because this is one of my favorite things to do in the whole wide world, is to share my own personal experience, to share on behalf of others at their, permission, and to just share openly and vulnerably about life experience in general, because this is how we learn as people. This is how we grow and shape ourselves into who we want to become. And if you're on board with that, if that sounds like a really good game plan to you, then stick around, have another listen, grab whatever you need to get comfy, grab a blanket, get into some comfy clothes, grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, grab some bubbles, whatever is your vibe right now, and come back, hang out, and let's talk. Talking about being a female and living with insecurities and conditions placed on you through societal norms, through the ways we were raised, through what we see projected onto us by other women, men, anywhere in between on the spectrum. It does not matter. The conversation I had today was between a woman and a woman, and here's how the conversation went. My client felt rather stuck in her head about something this week because, so part of the program that we're doing, it's a joy coaching program. That's the umbrella. What falls under that umbrella is a lot of things. One component of this program I offer gives you an exercise program to follow so that you don't have to think about that part of your life. You get to just show up. You know what you're doing. You know why you're doing it. And this is not an average exercise program in the sense that it is very unique. This program gives you access to multiple ways of exercising. It creates awareness for you to get to know what it is you like, what you don't like, what your body is pretty good at right now, and what areas of opportunity you have within your body and your pursuit of health. So this exercise program, it's part of this bigger package. So my client said to me today, I've really been enjoying this exercise program. I show up, I'm excited about it, I feel good, and the whole time I'm working out, I don't think like, oh, this is great because I'm trying to make my body smaller. It doesn't feel that way. And that was part of her goal is, she wants to pursue something much deeper. She's done doing I want to make my body smaller thing. And that's fantastic. That's what I'm here to coach on. And the problem that she was facing this week, not problem, but the pickle she was facing was outside of the exercise, she would start to get in her head a little bit. So she noticed after her workout one day, she went into the bathroom, I'm assuming it was a bathroom. She mentioned a mirror. She saw herself in the mirror, and the word she thought to herself was gross. She thought the word gross, specifically about her arms. She's had an insecurity about her arms for a while, as she said, and she was kind of beating herself up about that. And so many times in my life, I have thought similar things. And what I explained to her was, this is not your fault. As women, at least in my experience as a woman, we have been taught that to look in the mirror and find appreciation is taboo. To linger there and to feel love there is conceited, is full of ourselves, is wrong. It's hoity-toity. And so society tells us, I'm calling this society. Society tells us, you're vain if you stand in front of the mirror and enjoy it. So we hurry away. Or, we self-deprecate to cover up how we really feel, to make it humorous, to make it, less real. And she related to that a lot. When I explained that perspective, she related and she was like, that makes so much sense. And what I also shared with her was that it can be hard for us as people to go from a place of, I hate this part about me, or I don't like the way this looks, or I don't like the way this feels, to, I love this. I love the way this looks. I love the way this feels. We have to be willing to see and feel a different way. And in order to get there, we have to go to the in-between place first sometimes. To get to a place of loving ourselves, we have to get to a place of accepting ourselves first. And that takes commitment, that takes effort, that takes work, deep inner work. This is work that I have done myself through, I spent 8.5 months competitively bodybuilding, and after that realized, I am a binge eater. So signed myself up for some binge eating recovery, went through a program, and every day since has been another day to practice my recovery. But at the beginning of that process, one of the things I found myself doing was trying to just claw my way to acceptance. There were parts of my body that I had hated for so long, and it was like the more people around me said, why? I love that. That's so great. It's like, it just made it so much harder. It had to come from me. It has to come from me, which is why I think it's so hard with the way society talks about bodies and idolizes bodies and shapes and sizes. It's like all they're doing is muddying the water. We have to get comfortable with ourselves and live from that place. I can't be comfortable with myself because my husband is comfortable with me. I can't be comfortable with myself because my friends are comfortable with me. I have to be comfortable with myself because I am comfortable with me, because I am home there. We are making a home, a long-term, forever livable home inside of our bodies, and it takes work. Just like like a house. It's not just like poof, it's there. It takes labor. It takes labor. It takes mental labor for us to build this home inside of our bodies. So, how do we get to that place of acceptance? You hug yourself, literally and physically, and you appreciate the parts that are not on the surface. You appreciate what your body does for you, not how it looks. So I sat in the bathroom at the beginning of my binge eating recovery, squeezing my stomach, squeezing my thighs, saying, I don't have to love you right now, but I can accept you and I can appreciate you. And that's how it started. It started there and it stayed there for a while for me. And in time, I was able to, peel back the onion a little bit and go deeper and really uncover what it was that I was, afraid of looking at closer. And through that, have been able to develop a really sustainable love for my body and for who I am. And so back to the story of my client. She had this tough time looking in the mirror, looking at her arms while wearing a tank top. And it brought back this thought of her mother, who has said for so long, I'm past that point. I can't wear tank tops anymore. And she wears long sleeves in the summer because she's too old to be wearing that tank top, and her body just doesn't look the same anymore. And I don't care how old you are, we all experience this to some extent unless we confront it. We have to be willing to confront the really hard, negative, harsh thoughts and challenge them, just like we would challenge anyone else, whether we actually challenge them or we just think about challenging them. We have to hold ourselves to a little higher standard of thinking here. And so I said, here's what you do. You get to that place of accepting before you get to that place of loving. And it doesn't have to do with your arms. It doesn't have to do with anything about the way you look. But you sit your butt down in front of a mirror. You make yourself cozy. You put on as many layers as you want. You grab whatever you want to get comfortable there. And you find something nice to say about who you are. You sit there until you can find something. And maybe once you find one thing, you find another. And maybe that other thing builds into something bigger, something more profound that you hadn't even thought about before, a gratitude you never held on to for longer than a second. And then when you build that kind of relationship with yourself in front of a mirror, just imagine how you're going to feel and how you're going to carry yourself through life when you're not in front of a mirror. Just imagine that. Everything we do is connected. You may have heard people say how you do one thing is how you do everything, and I believe this to be true. Because the energy you carry into every part of your life is going to spill over and bleed its way into other areas of your life. So how you talk about yourself becomes the subconscious way of talking and thinking about your daughter, about your son, about your children, about your grandchildren, about your spouse. And then it becomes the way you show up in conversation with your friends and strangers. It doesn't matter. It shows up in the way you approach your health journey, because you have this limiting belief, this self-criticism that rules you without you even being momentarily aware of it. It becomes the reason you pursue that program. It becomes the reason that diet speaks to you, because it's nurturing this icky, false thought in your head, this lie that you need this thing to make you better, to fix you, to shape you and change you. You're already perfect the way you are. Be willing to see that. It takes effort to look for that, and bravery and courage. But if you can't look at that and see that, how do you expect other people to? And how do you expect the people you are leading to do that for themselves if you're not willing to do it yourself? This is a loaded topic. This is a very loaded topic. It comes with a lot of intricacies and a lot of nuances from person to person. We all battle our own things. And I think most of us battle body image at some point. And at some point, we get to a point where we're done. We are done and ready for more. And I'm blessed because a lot of my clients are to this point, and when we start working together, real shit happens, because we know that it's not about a workout program. It's not about a meal plan. It's about a way of thinking and a commitment to an energy you want to carry through every moment of the rest of your life. And it's about building your tool belt to be such that it supports you no matter what curveballs come at you, no matter what decisions you're required to make that week. You have what you need, because what you need is you. It's in there. Give her a microphone and let her speak. Give her the talking stick. Give her the time to shine, and she will. But don't push her down. Nurture her. Love her. Get to know her. She's in there, and she's your home. That's all for today's walk and talk. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share. Sharing is one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. And this is what I want for every one of us, is to be able to show up every single day of our lives fully alive, authentic, energized, ready for more, for that next level of expansion in who we are as people. That is what we owe ourselves. That is what the world needs. More of us always. Whatever you're working on right now, keep going. You got it. You're worth it. If you desire it, it's already yours. I love you. Bye.